Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. I'm Dr. Kem, and we are kicking off a highly structured masterclass designed specifically for you students of chemistry, analytical chemistry, biotechnology, and the pharmaceutical sciences. We're going to unpack an absolutely fascinating, truly unique chromatographic technique that literally rethinks how we purify chemicals. Okay, let's dive into this. So if you've spent any time in an analytical lab, you've definitely run into the classic frustrations of traditional high-performance liquid chromatography, good old HPLC. You know the struggle, right? The expensive solid silica columns that inevitably degrade over time, that irreversible sample adsorption where your target molecule just kind of vanishes into the matrix, and the sheer heartbreak of destroying a fragile, heat-sensitive compound. But I want to challenge you to think beyond those limitations today. Ask yourself, can we effectively separate complex chemical compounds without ever using a solid column? I want you to envision an elegant liquid-only solution. Here's our syllabus for today. We'll start with the liquid-liquid revolution, then cover the principles of partitioning. From there, we'll look inside the CCC machine, weigh the advantages and limitations, explore real-world applications, and wrap up with the final assignment. Part 1, the liquid-liquid revolution. Now, as a chemist, I am just incredibly enthusiastic about this. Developing a completely solid support-free system was nothing short of a revolution in liquid chromatography. It opened doors to purifications we thought were flat-out impossible. Let's quickly walk through how we got here. The foundational idea goes way back to the 1940s when Craig and Post came up with a gravity-based countercurrent distribution method using this whole array of connected glass tubes. I mean, it worked, but it was agonizingly slow. The real game changer happened in 1966 when Dr. Yoichiro Ito introduced centrifugal countercurrent chromatography. He swapped out slow gravity for high-speed centrifugal fields. By the 1970s, Dr. Ito and his team had invented high-speed CCC, using these fast-rotating helical coils to finish separations in just a few hours. And then, shortly after in the 1980s, centrifugal partition chromatography, or CPC, emerged as this highly effective hydrostatic alternative using radial chambers. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the whole technique really boils down to 4 crucial words: without a solid support. Because we're using 2 completely immiscible liquid phases, meaning they just don't mix, kind of like oil and water, the complete absence of a solid support entirely eliminates irreversible adsorption. Your target molecules literally have nowhere to get permanently stuck, and that drastically minimizes sample loss. Moving on to part 2, principles of partitioning. Let's shift our focus to the core physics and physical chemistry principles that make this unique separation actually happen. In traditional chromatography, separation relies on a molecule's affinity for a solid surface versus a liquid mobile phase, right? Well, in CCC, separation occurs strictly because compounds have unique differential affinities for the 2 immiscible liquids. We quantify this using the partition coefficient, or K value. It's simply the ratio of your solutes concentration in the stationary liquid phase compared to the mobile liquid phase. Since every single compound in your complex mixture has a unique solubility profile, they're going to partition differently between the 2 liquids, meaning they travel through the system at entirely different rates. But you might be wondering, here's the major engineering hurdle. If both of your phases are liquid, how on earth do you keep the stationary liquid from just washing right out of the column with the mobile liquid? Well, the answer is physics. Centrifugal force acts as an invisible anchor. Think of one of those carnival centrifuge rights, the kind that spins super fast and pins you against the wall. In a CCC instrument, the spinning coil generates a strong centrifugal field that firmly pins the liquid stationary phase against the inner wall of the tubing. Meanwhile, the mobile phase is continuously pumped right through it. Let's move to part 3 and see how this builds into an actual machine. So how do we take this theoretical physics and turn it into a working piece of lab hardware? Let's look under the hood, because the instrumentation is brilliantly orchestrated. You start out with your solvent reservoirs and high-pressure pumps. These deliver your mobile phase at very strictly controlled rates. Next, right after the sample injector, you hit the true heart of the system, the centrifugal rotor. This holds the rotating multi-layer coil, or interconnected chambers, and spins rapidly to generate that essential retention force to hold the stationary liquid phase in place. Then, as the mobile phase exits the rotor, it flows through a detector, usually a UV visible spectrometer, so you can monitor the eluting compound separation in real time. Finally, automated fraction collectors gather your highly purified liquid fractions. And of course, a computer data acquisition system ensures the whole shebang works in perfect harmony. Let's quickly walk through the exact procedure you'd perform in the lab. Step 1 is selecting your biphasic solvent system. A really popular one is the Henwatt system, which is a mix of hexane, ethyl acetate, methanol, and water. Now, I have to emphasize this to all you chemistry students. Careful solvent selection is absolutely the single most critical, and honestly, often the most difficult step for achieving high resolution. Step 2, you pump in your stationary phase and spin the column to anchor it. Step 3, you inject your sample. Step 4 is the actual separation as you flow the mobile phase through the spinning coil. And finally, Step 5, you detect and collect your purified fructions. Which brings us to Part 4, Advantages and Limitations. I want to pause here for a second and ask you a didactic question. As a biotechnologist or pharmaceutical researcher, why would you go through all the trouble of optimizing a two-liquid system just to avoid a solid phase? Let's objectively weigh the pros and cons. The core difference really comes down to the environment. Traditional HPLC relies heavily on solid silica columns, and those harsh interactions with solid surfaces always carry the risk of irreversible adsorption or sample denaturation. And this brilliantly illustrates the alternative. Countercurrent chromatography uses a gentle liquid stationary phase. Because there's no solid matrix for the sample to bind to, CC routinely offers nearly 100% sample recovery. The benefits of this approach are just phenomenal. First up, obviously, no solid stationary phase. This directly translates to an incredibly high sample loading capacity, which is absolutely perfect for preparative scale work. The liquid-liquid environment is super gentle, leading to minimal sample degradation and excellent separation efficiency. It perfectly preserves the biological activity of your molecules. This makes it ideal for isolating heat-sensitive or highly fragile natural compounds. Plus, from a lab management perspective, it's highly cost-effective over time. You never have to replace expensive, degraded solid columns. Your only consumable is the solvent itself. But as scientists, we have to be objective about the limitations, right? CCC isn't a magical, universal replacement for all chromatography. You're generally going to experience much longer run and analysis times compared to ultra-fast HPLC methods. And like I mentioned earlier, selecting that perfect two-phase solvent system requires real expertise, patience, and some complex optimization trials. Also, CCC can exhibit lower theoretical plate counts, which means lower efficiency when you're trying to separate certain highly complex mixtures. Finally, the instrumentation is highly specialized. You are spinning tubing at high speeds under pressure. That requires precise, well-maintained rotary sealing equipment so you don't end up with catastrophic leaks. Okay, let's look at Part 5, Real-World Applications. So how is this tool actually being used out there in the modern world? It is so vital that you understand exactly why this matters in modern pharmaceutical, agricultural, and biotech industries. CCC has really established itself as the premier choice in a few key areas. It's incredibly popular for isolating natural products, things like delicate alkaloids, flavonoids, terpenoids, essential oils, and natural pigments from plants. It plays a massive role in herbal medicine research to isolate and identify bioactive compounds used in traditional medicines. More recently, it's seen widespread adoption for extracting and purifying active cannabinoids from cannabis. In the pharma and chemical industries, it's used for fine chemical purification to get high-purity bioactive molecules, antibiotics, peptides, and vitamins. And because that liquid-liquid interface is so gentle, it can even separate large, fragile biomolecules like intact proteins and DNA without denaturing them. It's even heavily relied upon in food safety to analyze trace contaminants. To really understand the true value of CCC, I want you to consider the number 1 million. In natural product research, novel bioactive molecules are frequently present at concentrations of merely 1 part per million in the raw plant material. That's like searching for a needle in a massive haystack. If you try to purify something that rare on a solid HPLC column, you run a huge risk of losing your tiny, precious yield entirely to the silica matrix. This is exactly why CCC's ability to prevent sample loss is an absolute game changer. When every single microgram counts, 100% recovery isn't just nice to have, it's mandatory. And that brings us to Part 6, the final assignment. So, the crucial point is that countercurrent chromatography is a highly efficient, remarkably gentle, liquid-liquid technique that provides exceptional purification precisely because it leaves the solid column behind. And that brings us to the end of our masterclass. To wrap up today's explainer, here is your final assignment from Dr. Kim. I want you to critically evaluate these techniques. How does countercurrent chromatography compare to conventional column chromatography and HPLC in the context of your own specific research or future career? Based on what we've covered today about partition coefficients, centrifugal forces, and preserving biological activity, when exactly would you choose a liquid-liquid separation over a traditional solid column? I want you to think deeply about the chemical nature of the molecules you intend to study. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive into CCC, and I will see you in the next explainer.